And next we are on Taurus. What is up, my people? All right, so Taurus, sun, moon, and rising, and Venus. This is going to be your new moon messages. New moon is a time for basically working on what are the things that you want to bring about, the things that you want to manifest, the things that you want to grow. It's a great time for reflection on some of the things that you might be needing to leave behind. And with this being the last new moon in Sagittarius of the year 2025, we're going to go ahead and see what it is that you need to focus on growing or working towards between this new moon and the full moon next year. So from here till the end of the year, basically. All right, Taurus, let's see what we got. What are your new moon messages? What is it that we need to focus on growing or manifesting? This card wants to come out right here. Both of these. We've got the King of Swords upside down and the King of Wands upside down. All right. So, it looks like something that you might want to work on. We've got some mental energy here, and we've got some kind of like ambition, creation, pushing energy. So let's see, this might be, I'm getting Taurus, Gemini, Scorpio, Sagittarius. I'm getting lots of fire here. A little bit of air, but mostly fire. And it looks like a big theme here is going to be working on your emotional strength, like your emotional intelligence, and working on basically like your impulsivity and your expectations. So I'm getting that maybe some of you might be very quick to lose control of your emotions, and or you may tend to base a lot of your actions around your emotions. And this is something that usually leads to trouble, essentially. So maybe sometimes you have like these unrealistic expectations, and you base what you're doing or what you're working towards on like, this really strong emotion. Like you feel very, very motivated to do this thing, and you have like this really big outcome in mind, and then you realize that maybe you're not getting to where you want to be in time, and then that just causes you to lose motivation and to stop working towards it. And so I'm getting that like your actions are very much guided by your emotions here. And when you lose control of those emotions, or when you let them run rampant, it does tend to make you a little more impulsive. You tend to try to rush things. And so this is telling you not to rush. This is telling you you need to work on controlling your emotions, and you need to work on doing what you need to do regardless of how you're feeling. So if you have a goal in mind, if you have something that you're working towards, the message that I'm getting here is you need to continue to work towards that, and be realistic about the timeline. Be realistic about what you expect from the work that you're putting in, but also realize that the work needs to be put in regardless of the state that you're in. You are able to be angry and sad and fearful, and you can feel all of these things and still do what needs to be done. Let's see. Let's get another card here to clarify. Let's see. So it looks like, what is it that we're leaning towards here? Definitely need to work on emotional control and not basing emotions off of, or not basing actions off of emotions, excuse me. Let's see, what is the main area of your life that this is affecting currently? Let's go ahead and look at that. What is the area in Taurus's life that this is mainly affecting here? Let's see. We've got 2 cards that hopped out. Got a lot of reverse here. Cups. Okay, so, it seems like your relationships are definitely heavily being affected by this. I guess in sort of impulsivity and actions based on your emotions. So you might be very reactive, or like might even try to use your emotions to control the situation. Like when you're in an argument with your spouse or your partner, doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It could also just be within your relationships with like friends or like business partnerships. You tend to use your emotions to kind of manipulate and control the situation. And you might be expecting a lot out of your relationships. And your emotions are definitely affected by how much you're expecting to get out of this. And again, how you feel is dictating how you move in these relationships. So that might be something that you are going to have to work on, is how you're moving in your relationships in terms of your emotional intelligence and how that affects your actions within the relationships. Let's see, you might be dealing with a water sign or earth sign. I'm getting heavy water, so they might be water dominant. Could have some earth in their chart as well. And yeah, it seems like you having troubles with this is causing a lot of blocks in like your creativity, and it might also cause kind of ripples in the way that you love yourself and others. And it seems like there's also a lot of like repressed energy as well. So maybe there's like, when it comes to the emotional intelligence, for example, maybe you're just really sad about something and you portray it as anger or, another emotion to try to manipulate the situation, as opposed to just communicating that something makes you sad or hurt. You need to work on your emotional immaturity, essentially, and your insecurity. And that's going to be your main focus this new moon, is to work on your emotional intelligence and work on not allowing your emotions to dictate your actions, and not allowing your emotions to guide you, in a sense of like not using them to manipulate a situation, or not using them for power. Definitely be careful about how your emotions are affecting your relationships. Definitely work on that. That seems to be the big message here. And it seems like if you're able to focus on this, that you're going to gain more creativity and self-love. You're going to be able to unblock that part of you that you feel you're disconnected with. And honestly, that disconnection might even be what is causing this lack of emotional intelligence. It's like a disconnect from yourself, which is causing a disconnect in your relationships in turn, and a disconnect from, your own creation energy. All right. Any final messages for Taurus for new moon? We've got We've got the Ten of Pentacles upright. All right. So Taurus, if you are able to control, if you're able to control your emotions and you're able to do what you need to do, regardless of how you feel, and you're able to move through your relationships with more emotional intelligence and more security, you will unblock your creativity. You will bring these relationships closer to you, and you will find more wealth and success in turn from having this control over your emotions. And it's not necessarily about like controlling your emotions, but just being aware of them and being aware of how they affect you and acting in spite of them, or acting regardless of how you feel. So that is the message that I've got for you. All in all, if you focus on what 1111, if you focus on what you need to focus on here, you've got a Ten of Pentacles coming in, and that is, you know, financial fulfillment, financial success, wealth, contribution. In terms of signs that we've got on the table right now, I'm going to say we've got Taurus, Gemini, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Virgo. Lots of water here, lots of earth. I would say water and earth more than anything. And fire. Water, earth, and fire are the big ones here. Maybe like a sprinkle of air, but mostly water, earth, and fire. And that is the read for what you should focus on for this new moon for Taurus. I'm going to go ahead and pull a fortune for you guys. This is going to be your new moon fortune. Let's see. New moon fortune for Taurus. And your fortune is: don't worry about the world coming to an end. It's already tomorrow in Australia. That's an interesting one. My interpretation of this is basically like, don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. And, you know, this might be causing a lot of stress in you, and emotional turmoil is worrying about the future. And almost in a sense, like the future has already happened. Like time is not linear. And so every moment is happening. So the future that you are perceiving has already happened. And the future that you are trying to create is also already happening. Does that make sense? Basically, there's no use worrying about what is going to happen. Worry about now, because the future doesn't exist, and neither does the past. All that really matters is now. So if that's what you worry about, then you will have much better control over... I don't want to say control, because I feel like control is very much an illusion in a lot of ways. Like in a lot of ways, I mean, there are some things that we are able to control, but I feel like in a lot of ways, the idea of control is very much just that, an idea. A lot of things are out of our control, except for ourselves. So, yeah, your lucky numbers for this fortune are going to be 35, 26, 56, 10, 32, and 52. So yeah, that was your read for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. As I say in my other videos, go ahead and take what resonates, and whatever doesn't, just leave it behind. This is obviously a video for a collective consciousness, excuse me. So yeah, it's not going to resonate with everyone. But if it does, I'm super glad that it does. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great time. I hope you guys have happy holidays. I love you all so much, and I'll see you next time.